My name is Akahi Ricardo Salas. I was born in South America, in Ecuador, and for the last 7 years, 2008, I did start living on light. And for the last 7 years, I have been traveling around the world, sharing this technology that gives us the possibility and the freedom to take advantage of the cosmic energy and integrate that energy into our bodies as a new source of nourishment, healing, and possibilities. Today I am here in Ojai, California, and I came here to share a 2-day seminar with a beautiful group of people that I was invited to come. In these 2 days, yesterday we experienced what is the Breatharian state. So I did share specific breathing techniques that educate the body, the cells, the organs to the ability to take advantage of the cosmic energy through the conscious breath. Today we are in our 2nd day, and today we are experiencing the Pranic state. That is the state in which we learn how to use the prana into our lives to enhance our living. I have different seminars, but mostly the process that I have been sharing around the world is the 8-day process. That is the process designed to live on light. So in that process, we experience a 3-day of dry fast. That means not water, not food. And then we have 5 days of almost very watery fruit juices, 20% fruit blended with 80% water. And it has a reason, because as we stop what we always do, that is eating, and we give a chance to the body to stop that activity, the body has the chance to open to other possibilities, to other activities within itself. And by having that space and at the same time bringing conscious breathing into it, the body has the chance to then integrate this information within the cells. Be a breatharian means that all the energy that I receive comes from the cosmos, from the nature, and also from within myself. You know, it's beautiful to understand this also in a physical way, because energy is in everything. Yeah, and now right here in this moment we are actually in abundant energy. As we speak, as we look to each other's eyes, as we share this information, we are creating human energy. We are creating prana, interaction, interchange of energy. And when we are conscious of this energy, when we can see it, when we can feel it, we are right away taking advantage of it. What I mean by living on light, I mean that I am aware of the light of the universe that is co-creating through my body, and I know how to use it, how to take advantage of it in my life. And as I have that, I feel the freedom to not need big amounts of food, and also the freedom to be myself, to be the owner of my own mind, the owner of my own emotions, the owner of my own destiny, and have the freedom to create what I want to experience in this life. Prana is a Sanskrit name, a Sanskrit word to describe the cosmic energy. In other religions or cultures has been receiving different names like chi or ki. We are using prana because it has become kind of the common term to this energy. The mechanism is about trusting our body. Sometimes our mind have limits, that have been constructed about ourselves. We believe that we are not capable of doing things. And by accessing to our own body and starting to trust in our body, we can start with half day, for example. I'm going to trust in my body that half day I'm going to be without eating. And when you trust your body, you reach the half day and you will feel good because you have been trusting in your body. And by then you continue trusting in your body for one entire day without eating, and your body will show you that it's capable. Yeah? And as we continue trusting in our bodies, our body is able to decode, to expand into its own possibilities and show us the infinite possibilities that are available within us as human beings. I have been living as a pranic being from 2007. that will be around 8 years more or less. What brought me to this was the life itself. I was never been looking for this. I was never into spirituality or into enlightenment or into yoginess. I have always been an artist. So from my childhood, I recognized that we all come with gifts. We all have talents that we have here to explore, you know. And when I was a kid, somehow that awareness was very close to me, that I have my own gifts. And if I continue through my life exploring my gifts, I will experience the life that I want and that I came here to be. So before I became conscious of prana, I used to travel through South America as a painter. I used to expose my paintings in different galleries because my intention was to share my art all over the world. So while doing these travels around different countries in South America, I came across beautiful people that was somehow also having different lifestyles, and somehow different people was opening my perspective, opening my life and my possibilities to other ways of living. Yeah. So I came across also the sacred plants that we have in South America, like the cactus de San Pedro. That is a very mellow, beautiful, mother feeling plant that embraces us and expand our senses somehow so that we can perceive the energy of all things. So that was like an initiation that was naturally for me. I did it 3 times, and that was enough for me to become aware that energy exists in everything and to become more tangible for me. Yeah. After that, traveling, continue with the travels, I became also an actor. I did theatrical pieces. I became a fire dancing performer. I used to work with kids, teaching art as just my hobby. And by doing this and sharing the gift, because for me that was the most important thing, just to share the gift that we all have, and also by sharing it, awaken in other beings those gifts. And for me the most important was the kids, because the kids are so fresh, so young, and they have those gifts so innately anchored within them, and if they start discovering from kids, they will have them for the rest of their lives, you know. So my focus was to go to those small towns, small communities in Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, where I can go to those very close communities and share and activate the gifts of art or any kind of talent within those beings. The thing is, like, also while traveling, I became aware that a lot of people just wants to take from the life, from the society, one just receive and receive and receive, like a receiving mode. And I somehow became aware that I was holding some kind of pattern like that. Yeah. So while traveling in Bolivia, I came across this beautiful culture that is so connected with the earth, connected with the cosmos, connected with the simplicity of living. And somehow they lead me to become a being that, instead of taking, a being that gives. So one day I wake up and I say, from today, I'm going to stop taking and I'm going to start only giving. And then is when I decide to give my art and my talents to all these kids, yeah? But while doing this with the kids, somehow my consciousness was evolving, because by sharing these gifts and seeing the gifts in other kids being activated, there was such a joy, such a love that we came across, that it was so uplifting and so rich for my spirit. And at the same time, I was becoming myself, getting in tune with myself more deeply. While I was in Ecuador in 2005, I came across the ceremony of the sweat lodge. That is called the Temazcal. That is a place in which we go inside the womb of the Mother Earth to sweat, to sing, to pray for healing and for health in the planet and all the things that we want and we wish for humanity. While doing this ceremony, the first time that I did it, somehow made me aware of my own fears, because I was in this closed cabin, sweating a lot, everything was very hot, and while being there, a lot of like feelings like I'm going to die, you know, what I'm doing here, this is so hot, just wanting to escape. So by feeling those emotions within me, I became aware of there was some kind of fear within me. Yeah? And I say, okay, yeah, I see the fear now. And instead of hiding from the fear, I reached that strength within me to face it, to face the fear. So being in this hard space, I was able to calm down all this fear just to breathing slowly, to breathing consciously, and to pray for healing within the womb of Mother Earth. And the outcome was very positive. I felt very empowered, very strong within myself, physically and spiritually after that ceremony. And somehow I felt that that was my next step, that was what the life was inviting me to participate now. So I stay in Ecuador in this beautiful town called Vilcabamba, the Sacred Valley of Longevity. And I had a beautiful friend that was a shaman from Chile, and he was who used to lead the sweat lodges. But because I was there and I wanted to experience and continue growing within me, somehow he invited me to participate and help him in this creation of the ceremony. So I became the guard of the fire, that is the person that takes care of the fire for the sweat lodge. And by being in this environment, in this group of people that used to come to heal and to pray and to be connected with the earth and to revert from the womb of Mother Earth, I felt so ready to take that as my next step and to become somebody that can create healing for groups. And I did stay in this town for like 2 years, practicing constantly, being in the sweat lodge and learning the little details and what means to be somebody that holds space for other people to heal. And by receiving this gift and this knowledge within me, after that I decided to travel again through South America, but this time sharing the sweat lodge and the art of healing. That for me, somehow the physical art, the painting, the acting, the theater, the performances, that was the physical art, somehow started to become a non-physical art, the art of healing. And by traveling with the sweat lodge through Peru, through Bolivia, through Ecuador, sharing with many groups, I was able to see the people healing, you know, their eyes so bright, their skin glowing, the empowerment that they receive. And for me it was just so empowering, so uplifting, so rich to see that and to be somehow that person that was helping those beings, you know. And I was just so happy that I did decide to give, you know, to give this, you know. So I did continue in this giving mode, just giving and giving. So I did continue traveling, and while I was giving the workshops with the kids, I also was giving the sweat lodge for grown-ups that wanted to participate. So every full moon, we used to do a sweat lodge in Bolivia while I was living in Bolivia. While being this being that was somehow holding a space for other people healing, and actually putting a lot of passion and love into that, I felt that I was in a beautiful state of consciousness. I felt myself really good within me. And I believe that because I was ready, because I was in a specific state of consciousness from where I can receive this new living on light state, somehow the 21-day Breatharian process came to knock the door of my house. I was in my house, I was building an ecological house for this community, and a woman from Argentina came to knock the door of my house, and she told me that she was looking for a place where she can do her 21-day process to live on light. For me, it was interesting to ask her and to receive her answer about what that actually it is. She told me that it was a process to allow for the body to recalibrate, and by then take advantage of the energy and having another source of energy that can somehow enhance the food aspect. And by having this energy, the need for food decreases. Yeah. At the beginning, it took me like 2 days to understand the concept, you know, and to actually allow also my feelings to feel, not just the mind, because the mind sometimes just think, but you also have to feel. So I start to feel what that means for me, you know, and also to realize that if it was in front of me, coming to my door, somehow was part of my life. Yeah. So this lady, she actually rent a room very close to where I was living, and she invited another person that have done the process before to come and take care of her while she was doing her 21-day process. So I was able to see her doing her 21-day process that includes 7 days not drinking water and not eating nothing at all, and 15 days drinking very watery juices. Yeah. So while they were doing that process, I was in my house and I was able to feel this field of energy within them, through that process. And I secretly say, okay, I just feel that this is in front of me and I'm going to take it. So by my own, I decided to experiment a 4-day process. That was something that I just did in that moment. There was 1 day not drinking nothing and 3 days drinking juices. So I did this experiment with myself and I feel so good by doing that. I felt so free, so healed, so pure, so uplifted, that I just fall in love with that sensation of being embraced in energy. So by then I realized that that the 21-day process will be my next step to take. So I did decide to do the process after 6 months for me to prepare my physical body to do the process. So in those 6 months of preparation, I start eating only fruits and drinking only juices to prepare my body. And when the time came for the process in March of 2008, I was completely ready for it. So I did the first 7 days not drinking, not eating nothing, and then the 14 days drinking watery juices. And I finished the process, and while the process somehow the hunger disappears, the hunger starts to fade away, because it's very transformative what this process did to me. For example, there was a lot of emotional healing because I was able to face my fears, but very clearly, because in those 7 days not drinking, sometimes you feel that you're gonna die, you know, like I'm going to make this, I'm going to finish it, you know, and somehow all that were some kind of fears that I was experiencing within me. I was able to also apply that into that process, to face those fears. So in the 5th day of this dry week, I was feeling very uncomfortable with my body. There was a lot of deep detoxification, yeah? Mentally, emotionally, physically detoxing. And in the 5th day, I was feeling very, very weak, very uncomfortable with myself. My breath was very shallow. My heartbeat was very intense. And I felt that I was dying. I literally felt my body dying. And I didn't know how to stop that dying process. You know, I didn't know what I can do to reverse that, because I was so deep into that process. So in the 5th day, I went to my bed to try to sleep, but I couldn't. My heartbeat was so fast, pumping through my chest very intensely. My breathing was so little, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually dying, you know? And somehow, while I was experiencing this kind of death process, a part of me said, okay, just let yourself die. You have lived 28 years. You have done a lot for this world. You have shared your gift. You have a beautiful life. It's fine to die. Just die. And when I accept that possibility, I die. Physically, I die. So I felt my body die, and somehow my consciousness was still present. I felt it was like I was conscious that my body was dead, you know, but I was still alive. My consciousness was still alive. So somehow I had this realization that the life is eternal, that only our physical body die if we wanted to die, you know. And then while I was experiencing this very beautiful state of death in which everything was light, all over where I was looking, it was light, down below me was light, above me was light, all around me was light. And also there was this deep and beautiful state of comfort, like safety, like feeling at home, you know. And while I was there, I was just kind of enjoying that state and remembering that that was me, as a soul merged with the soul of the universe. And by being there, in a moment, I received this kind of message from this source that told me, just breathe. And in that very moment, my consciousness received that message and was transmitted to my physical body. And my consciousness, soul, spirit returned to my physical body. And in that moment, the first breathing took place again. It was like a revert, but was a conscious revert into a awareness of the breath. And when I was again alive, I felt my blood circulating through my body again. It was still cold, but I felt that somehow the physical life was starting again, yeah? And because the message was to breathe, I was like, yeah, the breathing, I have to breathe if I wanted to be alive physically also. So all that night, I spent breathing and just being fully focused that I was breathing, because I realized that if I was not breathing, I will die. So I was like, just breathe. You want to be alive? Just breathe. So just observing my breathing, observing that actually there was already a change, because before my breathing was very shallow, but after it was deeply, it was very like a breath that was connected with the universe. Not just me was breathing, I was breathing in synchronicity with all that it breathes. And at the same time, I felt connected with everything, because I realized that everything is breathing in this universe. And as if we breathe, we are connected to all what exists. So the next day, the 6th day of the dry week, I was feeling better. And the 7th day, I was feeling also better. And the hunger disappeared. I didn't feel hunger at all. And I was like, what is this? What is happening to my body? It was surprisingly to feel that dramatic change in me. And somehow I didn't have fear anymore. There was no fear at all in me, but absolutely no, nothing, you know, like everything is good. Just continue with this process because everything is fine, you know. And with that confidence, that safety, that assurance within me that I was a spiritual, eternal being that was through this body breathing that source of energy, I was safe. So I continue to end the process the next 14 days, and the hunger disappeared, a lot of healing in my body, but very deep healing, like a recreation of the body, a regeneration of the body, very completely. I did lose some weight, but I did regain it again. My weight has always like this, my body has been always this shape. So I did regain my weight, and I was feeling perfectly. And after that process, I felt that my life was new, that all the past information, the past karma, the past illnesses that maybe my body was holding were not present, no longer within me. So I feel very free, very happy, and I did continue in that state because I was an artist. I didn't have the responsibility to go to an office to work or to follow a specific routine. I had all the free time to do what for me was the most important. So I went to another town in Ecuador where nobody knew nothing about what I just did. And I went to this other town with my wife that she also did the process with me. And the two of us were able to then allow the process to integrate completely. So every day in the night, we used to sit in front of each other with a candle in the middle, and we used to breathe, because that was the message that I received. And just breathing, and she used to join me in the breathing. And while doing this very little practice of breathing, I started to feel my hands tingling, like a current of electricity in my skin, like in my spine, like a pumping pulsations of energy through to my crown. There was, for me, was very new sensations that I haven't explored before. So was a little weird at the beginning because it was all new. but I felt so good while being in these new sensations, you know. And as I did continue practicing them, I did became more in touch with that. It was more deeper day by day. And the hunger was not present, a lot of energy in the body. People used to see me in the street and just ask me what I just did, because they used to tell me that I look very young, that I look so fresh, so healthy, that my eyes were bright. And for me it was also new, that feedback, because before this process, people used to tell me that I look older. And for me it was very sad to feel people telling me that I look older, you know. But after this process, people started telling me that I was looking younger, that I was looking glowing, and I also saw myself like a new being, you know, very fresh, very clean. And while integrating this process through this practice of breathing, the consciousness to this field increases, yeah? And the awareness that there is other realms of energy that we can interact became part of my awareness. And somehow one day I was in my bed, and after I did this practice of breathing, and I was in my bed going to sleep, and I felt that some kind of messenger, some kind of beingness coming from this great universe was trying to communicate something with me. And in that day I said, I have done this process and I feel like a new person, and all these new sensations are coming to me to make me feel good. So if this beingness wants to communicate with me, it's fine. I accept these new changes in my life. I am ready. Tell me what I need to know. So somehow I did open myself to those realms. And right away I start having different dreams, very lucid dreams in which light beings came to me. The first dream was very profound and was so like a blueprint within me. In this first dream, light beings descend to me to do a etheric surgery. So somehow energetically I experience very clearly how they bring their hands of light within my body and start taking my organs and replacing them with new organs. And next morning when I wake up and I was just feeling so happy, but it was a blissful state, you know. And my wife was beside me. She was like, wow, you look so happy this morning, like you are glowing. What happened? What happened to you? And I was like, you know, just I had this dream that was so powerful. And she started to ask me about the dream. Yeah, tell me, how was the dream? So I started to explain very clearly from the beginning of the dream how was the moment in which these beings descend to me, what I felt in my body, and what I saw, what they were changing my organs, and the different sensations that I felt, and also the clarity in my mind and in my emotions that I have gained. And by explaining this dream to her, she was able to feel the same healing, kind of feel the same process in her body. And she was also uplifted just by hearing the story of the dream. And she told me, you know, maybe this is what is called channeling, what some people talk about channeling, and maybe this is the way how this is starting to manifest in you. For me, all of this was very weird or rare, because I was never into this, you know. I was an artist that wanted just to share the gift. And because I was accepting these new things, I say, okay, maybe that is what is happening, you know. And I say, okay, I accept also this possibility. If this is the channeling process that is happening through me, I accept it. And by accepting it, the dreams and the information become more sharp, more constant, and every time more refined and more precise messages to how I can share the same consciousness, the same pranic field of nourishment, energy, health to other beings, but in a better or more shorter time that can redefine this process of transformation to living on light. So I receive very precise breathing techniques that contain a very high frequency, that when the humans, the participants, receive this message while they are breathing, the cells respond to that message. The cells integrate that higher frequency and activate the capacity to live on light. So at the beginning, I didn't know how to share this because it just came to me. I didn't know how to share it because it was all new. Of course, before I used to share the sweat lodge, so somehow I had a knowingness of sharing a sweat lodge, but know how to share these breathing techniques. She was seeing all this transformation that was happening in me and also in herself. She told me, you know, I believe so much in this information that I wanted to be the first person to receive these transmissions. I wanted to be the first person to receive these breathing sessions in my body. And while doing this, let's see what happened. So I was with Camilla sharing these breathing sessions with her, and she was receiving it, and I was asking her how she felt after each session, and it was just, I was able to see her eyes so bright, her skin glowing, you know, and this blissful state that she was also sharing with me as a feedback. And while sharing these sessions, somehow they ingrained within me. They became part of me, and the ability to share them also became part of me. And then people that used to find me, they start asking me what I was doing, how I was feeling about living on light, and they were inviting me to share more sessions individually, sometimes with group. And that way, the life by itself led me to become a giver of this science and technology of the prana. The 21-day process, I did it only me and my wife, the two of us in a house. And we called a friend from Argentina, the same person that came to take care of the girl from Argentina that did the process before. We invite him to come and take care of us, just be there as a support. So in this 21-day process, in these 21 days, he was there just to take care that we don't have visits coming to interfere with our process, that if we need some fruits, when we start drinking, that we have those fruits, that if we need water, we have water, and kind of holding the space, yeah? In this 21-day process, there is not breathing techniques, there is not practices to bring energy into the body. It's just this experience of 21 days without eating that somehow it makes all the change and the recalibration of the body, yeah? So he was there to hold the space for us to go deeper within us and be able to tap with this new source. Somehow this came by its own to me because I was ready. And I think that was the best, because if I learn from somebody, it will not be so powerful, so real as it is, so humble, so simple, so easy, because actually it is very easy in the way how it is presented now to the world. Breathe. It is a beautiful time to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose.
My name is Gibran Ferrier. I felt reconnected to the best energy of my highest yoga practices that I've known in this life, which I didn't realize I was disconnected from, to the extent that I was disconnected from them. And that is the sensation of being breathed by my higher power, or higher intelligences, the future, my body on the inside out. So while I'm inhaling, I'm actually being given an exhalation that I take into my body as an inhale.
So my name is Stéphane. I am originally from France. I live in Palo Alto, California. It was essentially the whole day yesterday of fasting, food and drink. We had a glass of water together yesterday at the end of the day at 6 p.m. and I haven't drunk or eaten since, and it feels okay. Yeah, it was much easier than I anticipated, much less struggle, even emotionally, much, some dealings with beliefs of scarcity, etc. that came up. I think I don't really care about Breatharian really as a, not eating and drinking, but I do care about what the tool can bring in terms of emotional freedom, feeling light, feeling empowered, and doing the same for others.
You can do some more faster circles to see what happens. You can also do the waves. With one hand and the other.
My name is Jenny Funkmeyer, and the reason I took this class with Akahi was I watched many YouTube videos of Akahi and his wife Camilla, and they live on light, live on love, and they also don't eat like normal people. They basically don't eat food. They eat love and light. So I've been like very, very interested about them for a long time, and then I discovered that they were teaching this workshop in Ojai, and I just have to take it. It's just so amazing. I just have to be here.
And came back to a place of peace and breathing so deep, and just I feel so calm and so at home doing this practice. And I feel really inspired to keep this going and share this with more people, and it's really beautiful. I just feel totally at peace.
My name is Shelby Sanchez, and what I got out of this weekend was community, because I've been doing similar practices but with sun gazing for 2 years now, and it's very similar to this practice with like air prana, and so it felt really good to be connecting with other amazing people that care about these practices or wanting to incorporate them into their lives, and yeah, bring their spirit into their body, and to be show up to life in a place of ease and at peace, and fully trusting the intelligence of life.
My name is Molly McClellan, and for me, I learned that there's so much given in every moment, and there's so much that is alive and available inside of us that we don't need to go any further than our own hearts to have all of our needs fulfilled. And so to have like a real life example of that in Akahi, and to know in my heart that that's true, that like everything is like so freely given all the time, it feels really good to align that with some real life examples, and to feel that truth like alive in me and ignited in me. And yeah, I feel really blessed to have participated in this class.
My age is 35 years old. About the maintenance of the youth in the body through the Pranic Breatharian state, that is very real. And how is possible that our body can stay young for as long as we want? Is because as we gain confidence to this field of energy and we access it in a deep level, somehow this intelligent energy is immortal. This energy never gets old. this energy never dies. So as we connect, as we synchronize with it, our body responds to that immortality of the energy. So it stays younger and it stays healthy as long as you choose to stay, It's that freedom that we have to control our aging process, the freedom that we have to control our vital cycle, the freedom to control also our mind and how our mind processes the information referring to age and body symptoms. So when we access this intelligence, we recognize this immortality, and this immortality becomes part of our mind. Our mind sees life as eternal. My mind sees the life as something that is beautiful to experience and that I can choose to be here alive as long as I want. The thing that I feel that is the most important reason why I am alive is because I wanted to be alive. I wanted to be here. I want to be a human body and experience the joy, the diversity of this physical planet, And by that decision of being alive, this source accompanies me. This source does everything for me to achieve what I want to do, that is to be alive, to enjoy the freedom, the diversity, the expansion of my awareness, the expansion of my mind, and also to be a creator, because this energy is energy of creation. Prana, chi, love is energy of creation. And as we tap into this energy, we receive constant inspiration, constant ideas, constant insights to put into practice in our life. So we become creators. And as we learn to create, we'll choose to create the best, the best beautiful experiences. So I personally choose to create a body that stays young, and a body that is also very healthy, and a body that can access immortality very easily. Yes, I am a father. I have 2 kids, and my whole family is in the Pranic Breatharian state, because when I did the 21-day process with my wife, we did it before we have children. So as this deep purification took place in our bodies, in our minds, in our emotions, in our DNA, it was completely recalibrated, regenerated. Somehow our genes become purified. Our genes became conscious of prana. So as we were able to conceive a kid very easily just by saying, okay, it's time, our children come bringing that information within their DNA, because as we purify our energy field and they are part of our energy field, they also receive that purity, that energy field of love, purity that is perfect for them to have a nice life that is happy, easygoing, relaxed, and healthy also. That was the nourishment of my kids, the breastfeed of Camilla, my wife. And the way how we see the breast milk is not only as a physical nourishment, as a milk. We see breastfeed as a source of love. As the kids are with their moms, sharing that moment in which the mom is transmitting that love consciously, because Camilla is conscious of that moment to be a moment to share her love to its baby. So by her being conscious of that, that connection of love and that transmission is what is the nourishment, the love, My first son, Inti, he started eating around 2 years, but very, very little fruit, because he was also started to play with other kids, and as he was playing with other kids, also going to sometimes to the kinder gym or to activities with kids, he saw kids eating, so somehow he was like wanting to know what is that, what is that these other kids are doing. So of course we exposed to him that he's totally free to enjoy from the diversity whatever he wants, and that we are here to support him. So gradually first he chose to try the fruits, but very little, until now he continues having fruits. Of course, as a kid that is also learning, now he's almost 5 years old. Now he has tried ice cream, he has tried other kinds of foods that are more normal, we can say, you know, but it's always from a place of freedom, from a place of I can do and I can choose to experience whatever I want because I have this source with me. And we always kind of ingrain into his mind, into his body, into his consciousness that he is always carrying within him an infinite amount of energy, and that if he just continue exploring the life, he will always be fine. So we are never trying to create any kind of diet or any kind of non-diet to our kids. We are not here to do that. We are here to support them in their growth as human beings. Yeah, it's very free the way how we interact with the food. And because we have been also in this state for almost 8 years, it has been changing through the 8 years. So for example, the first 3 years we didn't eat. We were just mostly drinking juices. Very watery juices, sometimes a smoothie, sometimes one fruit, very like a more mixed with other fruits also. So playing with the flavor mostly, not like kneading, but just like playing with the flavor because we felt that that was fun. Sometimes also when at the beginning after our 21-day process, we didn't drink nothing, only water. And that was, in a certain moment, I became a little like bored. I felt that it was boring to be just like that, you know. And I decided to integrate some flavors, some juices. And I felt that the juices for me are better than the water. In this moment, I don't drink water. I drink juices sometimes, coconut water, very watery juices. But as I told you before, it has been changing because now that we have kids and our kids, my older son, Inti, he's starting to explore the food. We don't want him to do that alone, you know. We want him to know that we are there for him and to share and to actually reflect that freedom, that we are free to do it if we want, as well as he is free to do it if he wants. So we have it a few times a year. I cannot tell you the right amount of times or the quantity because it's very free, you know. Of course, I cannot eat a big meal. I cannot eat normally as I used to eat before. And if one day, for example, somebody invite me to a party or there is a social event in which food is included, I go. Sometimes I receive the dish and I just have it in front of me, kind of playing with the spoon, kind of like pretending that I am eating, you know. But also what I have learned to do is to also receive that food through the smell. Because for me, I believe, or I have came to discover that the food smells better than what it tastes. So a lot of times just by having the connection with people that is eating and just smelling what it comes from their dishes, for me is like eating, and I enjoy a lot. And also I awake somehow the mouth memory of that taste, because my tongue still holds the memory of those flavors. Just by smelling it, it kind of reactivates again, and I feel like I am eating. I feel like I am actually enjoying the flavor of the food, you know. Actual desire to eat is not present. It's like there is not a relationship with food. It's just food is part of the diversity, you know. Is this how I see food? As part of the diversity, and that we are here to enjoy the diversity with balance. And that's actually what I want to transmit to the world and to the people that somehow come and take the processes and retreats that we share. That this is not about food. This is about freedom to choose when, how to choose the diversity and how to enjoy the diversity with balance. Because, for example, if we access this intelligent energy and is nourishing us, naturally we feel not hunger. We feel a decrease in the need for food. And just if we create a balance like maybe 70% prana, 30% food, that is perfect, because you are enjoying your physical body experience with the taste, the flavor, the food. That is normal and it's beautiful, but also you are taking the spiritual, mental, physical and emotional nourishment from the prana, and that is like create this balance in which the body feels comfortable, the whole being feels comfortable. Yeah, the breathing is the most powerful tool, resource that we have, and the breathing has been shared through many masters around the world in all these centuries, you know, in the yogas, in the qigongs. There has been always the awareness of the breath, and has been traveling this awareness through the world, and people is taking and using it. So it's always available for us, the breath. But when we start focusing it, when we start giving more attention to the breath, somehow the memory of our being to take all the multiple resources that are contained within the air, the body takes all of it. It takes more advantage of it. Yeah. So for example, with the groups of people that I share this, as I told you before, I have received these beautiful and very profound breathing sessions that somehow they educate the body to live on light. So some of the sessions are first breathing through the nose, just to feel the rhythm of the air, to feel the moisture of the air, you know, and to feel the density and the lightness of the air, and expanding our senses to see the air not only as oxygen and gases, but to see the air as a source of infinite resources. Why? Because the air holds all the thoughts of each and every being. For example, the thoughts of Jesus, the thoughts of Buddha, the thoughts of Tesla. Those thoughts are still available. Those thoughts are in the air, are in the energy field of the planet. And as we evolve to expand our senses to that information, we receive those thoughts and we translate it into the best way to apply it in this very moment. Yeah. So through these sessions, that is what we do. We transform that information into something very practical and easy to take home and apply it forever, because this becomes permanent. Once done, once awakened, never fade away. Many different techniques that I share, yeah? Ones that are more complex, others that are more easy. For example, one that I shared many years ago in a video on YouTube is called the 21 Breaths of Joy. And that is what it does. It takes us to a beautiful state of joy after 21 easy breaths. So we do first 7 breathings through the nose, then 7 breathings in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then 7 breaths in and out through the mouth. But because we are giving enough focus to the prana for 21 breaths, 21 breaths is a lot of information for a human body, because for 21 breaths you are completely focused on the prana, so the prana can travel through your body and just make you feel so good, and is automatically like uplifting state, a centeredness, a feeling of connection, a feeling of joy that manifests just by focusing on prana for certain amount of time. There are other techniques that are to increase even more the amount of energy. For example, we can do 10 fast breathings, like 10 fast inhalations through the nose, like, and then exhaling naturally. If we do this 10 times and we repeat this sequence 3 times, that will be 30 breathings at this way. This is a lot of energy for the body. The body right away feels enhanced, feels full of energy. There is another technique also that is only through the mouth. So we just open our mouth and throat, and we allow ourselves to create a bigger conduit to receive bigger quantities of energy. And we breathe like this. And then we start to accelerate. And we can also allow ourselves to stop breathing for a few seconds to feel how, as we stop breathing, the universe has the chance to breathe us and to inhale and exhale us as spirits. And in that moment, we reconnect fully with the universe. We become the breath of the universe. We synchronize with everything that it breathes. And that is so beautiful. It's like a very beautiful state, blissful. The universe breathes us also, because we are the nourishment of the universe. We are the source of nourishment of the universe. Why? How is that we can nourish the universe? It's because we are creation. And as we create, we experience joy. And when we are in joy, we are emanating this energy of love. And we are sending this message of love through the universe. And the universe takes our love and expands with it. For example, when you want to create something joyful for you, you want to experience love with somebody, or you want to create a happy business, or you want to share your gift with other people, while doing that, while creating that, you feel happiness because you see people being happy as you share your gift, you feel people happy as you accomplish your work and your goals, and also you feel happy through the creative process, and all that happiness is emanating through you. It's sending waves of happiness through the world, in the energy field of the planet, and also to the entire universe. But imagine if there is not only you, if there is millions of people experiencing joy. That is a big amount of love that is emanated to the universe, and the universe grows, expands, and as it expands, we are creating a space for new planets. We are giving birth to new galaxies. We are giving birth to new civilizations. Part of the work that I'm doing and sharing in this very moment with my seminars and retreats is the pranic frequencies. And the pranic frequencies are the frequency of health, happiness, and consciousness. 3 frequencies that I transmit to the group, to the participants, for them to enhance it in their life. For example, the pranic frequency of health is a way how we teach our hand to become sensitive to the prana. We awake our senses and also our non-physical senses, and our hand becomes like a antenna, like a receptor of the prana as we teach it. And when our hand has become aware of the prana, naturally our hand becomes like the door for the prana to use us as vessels, as transmitters of this intelligence. So the pranic frequency of healing is just a moment to be in a state of observation, a capacity of us to be in a state of neutrality, not trying to control it, not trying to share, or not trying to send or trying to heal somebody, just observing the prana in our bodies, in our senses, in our hand. We feel like tingling, we feel vibration, we feel changes of temperature, and just by noticing those sensations, that is the feedback that the body is offering us as a affirmation that the prana is through us now. And when we want to heal somebody, we just see that person, we just invite that person to become part of our field, and just by feeling the prana, the healing goes to that person. And doesn't matter if it is close to us or if it is in another country. The prana will go and will do the healing the best healing possible for that person, because the prana knows that person. The prana knows everything about each one of us, knows our deepest intentions, because we are formed from it. We are creations of it. So as that, we are all the time in the knowingness of it. So me, I am the conduit. You know what it means to be a conduit? Yeah? I'm the conduit. And by being a conduit, the intelligence will pass through me, to her hand, and will do what it needs to do. I'm not trying to pass energy. I'm not trying to heal her. I'm just feeling and letting the intelligence do what knows is the best. Okay? So we are going to start. Put your hand like this. And I don't consider myself as a healer. I consider myself as a human being that is here to share the gift and to activate in other people's the gift that they are carrying within them. Actually, there is a lot of capacities that I have received through the pranic consciousness. The first capacity was to not feel hunger, and to feel completely satisfied and nourished constantly. After that, I start to perceive the capacity to use my mind consciously, to use my mind as a tool to create my reality. And by doing that, I access the laws of the universe, the law of creation, the law of attraction, and consciously I use it. Because also, after doing the 21-day process, my mind became very clear, very sharp. There is not overthinking, it's always slow thinking process, very refined. So as our mind refines our thoughts, the message that we transmit to the universe is also more clear, because there is not this overthinking, this cloud of thoughts. There is just one thought, and this thought goes right away to the source. I want to create that. I want to experience that. And the message is very clear. And also the feedback, the response of the universe returns also very clear and very fast. The manifestation of our dreams, our goals, become very fast and beyond what we can expect. Because sometimes when we want to create something from the mind, we want to control the creative process. We want to do it our way, and we think about how to do it and who's going to help us, and we're going to get the money, and we're going to get all the resources, you know. So we put some kinds of limitations to the creative process by putting and adding all of these thoughts, you know. But when we just trust in the source and we just send the message holding a beautiful intention of well-being, we just trust in the well-being to attract more well-being. And we allow the universe to surprise us in the way how we'll manifest, because I know that it will do it more faster than what I can do it if I use my mind. It will bring all that more faster. Other ability that I have experienced also is the ability to control the matter. To control the matter, but consciously. For example, I used to practice just by having fun, because I don't need to apply this in a greater scale. I don't feel that I need to apply this in a big matter scale. It's more like for having fun and discover this ability. I used to, for example, hold dice, I think is in Spanish, these cubes that have dots, and I used to just communicate with the die. I want this number to be, and the number came. Yeah? And that was many times, you know, and I used to do it also with friends, like, because they didn't believe, I was like, yeah, just. Other ability that I have discovered also is the ability to influence my body, to influence how my body processes the information that receives. For example, before, I used to be overwhelmed by all these different energies of the society, television, computers, all these different energies that are coming from the planet and the people, you know. And I was kind of affected by that. But after I became aware of prana and how to use it, I increased my energy field to become who influences the environment. Instead of the environment to influence me, I became who influences. And that is also something very beautiful. As I told you before, also the possibility to not age, you know, the ability to be young as long as I want, and also the ability to stop my aging process. Also, I have experienced the ability to let my body and clinically die for periods of time. Through the breath, for example, one experience was when I was in the ocean in Ecuador. I was in my house and I came back and there was the grass in the garden, and I went to the garden and somehow the sun was calling me. The sun wanted me to connect with it. So I see it and I start looking to the sun, and the sun invite me to breathe in a way that I have never been before. Like somehow it opens my throat and create this big conduit. So there was this big breathing that was very deep and very open, and it started getting faster and faster. And some moment I just left my body. And I went again to this beautiful state in which everything is just light and it feels so good and so comfortable, so peaceful. And I was there and I knew that my body wasn't there. I knew that it was just my consciousness there, because I had experienced that before. It was like more confidence in the second time, yeah? But while I was there in this beautiful state of oneness with the light itself, somehow my wife came to my mind. Because I was thinking like, yeah, I can stay here forever. Maybe I will stay this time here forever. Somehow I start thinking about that consciously while being in the consciousness. And while thinking that, somehow the love that I have for my wife, it came to me and told me, yeah, but if you stay here, what will happen with your wife? She will be there and she will be missing you and she will be, you know. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want my wife to be without me. I want to be with her. I want to experience love with her. And somehow, while being in this atmosphere, in this source, in this dimension of light, I recognize that that dimension of light, that love, that happiness also exists in the planet, exists in the physical form. And as we learn to perceive, to feel, to be open to that love, we can also feel it as we are humans. So while I was there, this insight came to me and I decided to come back. And was immediate, like a descension to my body. And again, I was like wanting to wake up very fast and go to my wife and hug her, you know, but I couldn't. Like my body was still dead. So I was like, oh, some part of me wanted to go and my body was not responding. So I had to wait there, and I was able to feel the cold blood getting warm again. I was able to feel my mind starting to think again. I was able to feel my eyes kind of starting to humidify. And then I was like, actually I hurt my body because I felt that I was kind of again becoming alive physically, and I wanted to move fast, and I feel this pain because my body was not ready. So I felt a little sensation here, like a movement, and I decided to stay for a few more minutes, allowing the body to fully return to the life. And then I went to look for my wife and just to be with her and to tell her that I love her, that I want to be with her, and that I want to experience love physically in this planet with her. Yeah, when we access prana, when we connect with prana, we connect also with intelligence of prana. Prana is an energy of pure intelligence that knows exactly how to do everything. And as we connect with that, we can tap into that intelligence and receive that guidance, and also become mirrors of that intelligence and create from that consciousness of oneness with the universe. And also we learn to see the life of this planet not only from within the planet as a society, not only from the eyes of a human being, but we learn to see this planet and this society from the eyes of the universe, as another planet, as another place for creating joy, happiness, to expand the universe. And we recognize that this is not the only one planet. We recognize that there is a lot of other galaxies and planets that are doing the same that we are doing. And we learn to understand what we are experiencing in this planet as perfection. Because in the universe only exists perfection. So we learn to see perfection in everything. What I'm sharing to the people is the possibility for them to have another extra source of energy. So they don't depend only from the food. And they have one more source of energy to add into their lives. And by adding this, naturally they feel more balanced. Because sometimes people get sick, get emotionally unbalanced, mentally unbalanced, because they don't have the spiritual nourishment. They are just so focused into the human experience, you know, and sometimes they have forget the field of prana, and they feel lonely sometimes. They feel that there is something missing in their lives, you know, and the thing that is missing is that connection with the spiritual energy. And as we connect again with this spiritual energy, it satisfies us in a deeper level, that it balances our human existence, because we know that we are energy through these human bodies to use the energy to create joy and happiness. After participating in any of the workshops or any of the retreats that I share, everybody becomes a breatharian. Everybody becomes a conscious breather who knows that every breath that is taken, energy is flowing through it. Because also we have educated the body to do that process. But not only that, a lot of what I see through this work is healing. Somehow healing is very remarkable. I have seen healings that are very miraculous and are constantly happening. People that cannot walk, they start walking. People that they have such a strong arthritis that can't even step in the floor, they start walking and using their bodies again, being able to move. People that have HIV have come to the process because they are desperate, and through this intelligent energy has done the miracle to heal them. I also have been working in a clinic here in the Silicon Valley in California that they have invited me to participate and collaborate. And in that clinic I have been working with people that is very sick, that really need help. And just with one session I can see right away how as they finish the session their skin glows, their eyes glows, and they feel happy, they feel that they are not sick anymore, that somehow the illness just disappears immediately. And for me at the beginning was like I couldn't even believe it, because like, wow, it is actually happening this, because for me everything has been surprisingly showing me the power of it, yeah. But now that has happened so many times, and that the people just every time experience these amazing healings, has become natural for me to somehow be a conduit of miraculous healings from all kinds of healings. While we are doing our seminars and processes, these are not fastings. These are another ways of nourishment. Yeah? So we are not here with the mind of that we came here to fast. We are here with the idea that we came to allow our body to rest, and by the body resting, we have chance to access another source of energy that can replace what we have left away, that it would be the food. And just by giving that time to the body to not do what it always do, because the body normally is always eating, but when we stop that activity, the body has a chance to look for other sources, look for other internal activities to how to process energy. And that is the outcome of this, retapping into other resources of energy. Yeah, you know, there exists pollution in the air, in the society, toxic information from different sources. But while we are conscious of prana, in my state, I'm not focusing to that. I'm not seeing the pollution. I'm not bringing my mind into that thought. My mind is only seeing the beauty of the life. It's only seeing the good things that exist in the life. And of course I know that there is other countries that are experiencing wars, countries that don't have food, a lot of different challenges happening in the planet. And I do respect that. But I'm not trying to change that, because as I told you before, while we are here seeing the life from the eyes of the universe, we see that as perfection, as part of a cleansing, part of a healing that has to be here. Because if we don't see the bad side, what is happening in the bad side, we don't have the chance to choose where we want to be. Do we want to be there or we want to be here? So somehow the darkness is there to show us the light. They give us the freedom to choose the light. So as that becomes part of our awareness, we choose to focus only in the good things of the life. My vision on sharing this work in the world is for every human being to have another source of energy and create balance within themselves. And by then also reconnect with their spirit and balance spirit and humanity and be that perfect balance. And also in a great scale, my vision is to help this planet and the society to reduce the amount of resources that we take from the earth. Because we're taking so much from the earth because we feel like there is a lack of energy. So we are looking for energy from petroleum, from wind, from so many places that we want to just take energy, you know, because humanity needs energy, you know. But if we access this amount of energy that is infinite, there will not be need to take too much from the earth. So there is no need to cultivate too much. There will not be need to grow up so much cows and so much animals just for food, you know. And we want to save a lot of water, we want to save a lot of resources. And the planet will be a long-lasting planet that we will not have to be worried about the planet will end and we want to have to, you know, survive here, you know. So my mission, my focus is to bring balance to the earth, balance about the resources and how to integrate those resources into the society. Yes, Breatharianism is a solution for the food issues of the planet and the hunger of the planet. My vision, what I received many years ago, is that in 20 years, a very remarkable amount of beings in the planet will be in the pranic state. And as that happens, it will be a ripple effect, like a, you know, like the monkey effect, but this will be the light body effect. As more people access the light body, people will be inspired because they will see the joy, the health, the brightness in those beings. They will feel like, yeah, what you did, what is happening, what are you doing that? And then is when the ripple effect will cover the entire planet. Breatharianism is the first stage because we became aware of how to use the energy through the breath. But while we enhance, while we integrate that perpetually, we access what I call the pranic state. That is the evolution of Breatharianism, in which we are not any longer focused in the food or not. We are focused in the universal consciousness and how to create the well-being through that ability of us to use the prana. And yeah, this for me is the enlightenment. This is the way that how a human body in this age, in this modern time, can be enlightened. But not necessarily enlightened in the mountains or in the temples, in the Himalayas or somewhere. This is a way to bring the enlightenment into our society, into our reality as human beings, and walk in the streets as an enlightened being. Share with your community your thoughts as an enlightened being that knows and interacts with the pure intelligence of the universe. A check of our blood to see how our blood was. That was in the time where Camilla, my wife, was pregnant. Because while she was pregnant, she was very happy, completely joyful with the pregnancy. and she was sharing the pregnancy with another 5 women that were all pregnant. And so they have their circle of pregnant women. They used to share with each other the experience. And there was one midwife that was also a doctor and also midwife that was kind of helping all of these ladies to be in the pregnancy state. Yeah. So this doctor, invite all of them to do a blood test to see how they are, if they have anemia or they are lacking some kind of iron or some kind of vitamins. So they all went to do the blood test, and remarkably, Camilla was the only one person that her blood test was like the most clean and pure blood that the doctor have seen. All of these other ladies, they were eating normally because they were not pranic conscious beings, so they were continuing with their life, eating normally, and their blood tests, most of them were lacking energy, and actually they had anemia. So the recommendation for them was to have green juices and all these supplements and all these foods. But for Camilla, the doctor was like, actually she didn't believe at the beginning, like, these are your blood tests? Like, yeah, this is. And she told her that it was the most pure blood that she had ever seen. And after that, I was kind of excited because, well, like, yeah, actually this is happening, it's working. So I went and I did also my blood test, and the same, was very, very clean and pure. I went to do a sonogram because I wanted to see how my organs were, if they were healthy or they were kind of sick after doing this 21-day process, you know. And I went to the doctor and I lay down in the bed, and he was putting this kind of machine all over my body, or checking my organs. And impressive for him, all my organs look younger than what they're supposed to be at that age. He told me, well, yeah, these organs look like organs of a teenager, and you are completely well, completely healthy. I don't believe in vitamins. For me, vitamins do not exist. For me, the vitamins is a business that was created for us to create dependency. In this state of consciousness, there is not any kind of supplement, any kind of requirement. Everything is already contained within us. This has been scientifically proven in my work. Somehow the science has become interested in my work because the healings and the outcomes are very dramatically powerful. So for example, in San Francisco in 2012, we did measurements with people in their energy field. We used the technology of the GDV from the Dr. Konstantin Korotkov from Russia. That is a very accurate and very refined technology to measure the amount of life force in general and also in each organ of the body. So first of all, when I was in Holland in 2012, there was one participant of the process that it has this technology because he used to do measurements to people. And he asked me if I want to do experiment to see if my energy was low or higher. So I did accept it, and he explained me that the normal amount of energy was between 17,000 points to 22,000 points. And when he did a measurement in my energy field through my fingertips, my energy field was 26,000. That was beyond what a very healthy and fit person could be, you know. So he was impressed because it was the first time seeing such a big amount of energy. So after that, I decided to continue using that technology. So I invite him to come and to travel with me to my events and do measurements to other people to see what happened actually in the process. So we measure them before the 8-day process and after the 8-day Pranic Breatharian process. Yeah. This process is very refined, it's very advanced. This process has been shared with people that have done a lot of retreats, and they all came to the conclusion that this is the most advanced process in the planet now. So first, when we do the measurements at the beginning before the process, people were having 14,000 points of energy, 16,000 points, you know, between that amount. And it was incredible because after we finished the process, we did a measurement with people. And for example, there was one participant that he was through the process and he was kind of not believing on it. You know, I don't believe it. I don't feel nothing is changing, you know. He was the only one person that was kind of, because sometimes the mind does not allow to fully trust, you know. But the rest of the group, they are very confident, very just in the process, you know. But he was having a time just to accept the possibility. But I told him, you know, you don't need to believe in this. You don't need to do nothing. Just be here and let this intelligence do what knows to do, because it's a spirit that knows what to do. Just let it be. So he kind of surrendered to it. And was amazing because after the process we did the measurement in his energy field, and he started the process with 18,500 more or less, and he ended up with process with 28,000. That is kind of adding almost 50% of energy to his body. But what happened while we add like half life to our body? We live longer. We have more years of life because now we have more life force in our cells, so our body will be a long-lasting body. And that is why actually everybody that has done the 8-day process rejuvenates. It's very new for the planet, so we cannot say that it is, because we have to wait 100 years to see the outcome, yeah? But for example, there was a documentary and an experiment from a yogi in India that he have not eat for 70 years. Prahlad is his name. He haven't eat for 70 years, and while he was in the hospital having the experiment, they were all checking on him on cameras if he eats or drinks, and nothing of that. He was just in this room, and after he ended the experiment, he was completely fine, and he also talks about he being able to live for 4,000 years if he wants. But yeah, I think that in the future we will explore that. For people who is interested in becoming aware of the prana and how to use it in their lives, I do recommend for them to do a process with somebody that have experience in this, because it's very important to have that support, that guidance from somebody that actually it is in that state and is able to transmit that to a participant. So please do not try to do any dry fast or push yourself into breatharianism, because that is not the path to access it. The path to access pranic living is through love, through evolution of the consciousness, and is not through a fast. So please just look for that person that resonates with you, that being that you feel attracted to experience the process or the transition to, and be guided by it. Yeah. This is Akahi, and I am a mystic next door.